What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Let me get a new screen share up as you guys are piling in. Kind of had a wild after hours yesterday, kind of a wild day of trading yesterday as well. And this morning we're waking up and it's really no different. No different. Richard Jet in YouTube land says, good morning, ready for another beautiful trading day. Yeah, I man, these are fun times. These are fun times. But we've got a lot of awesome people that piled in, could join it and navigate the market with me. We got Chuck in the house. Good morning. We got Albert, Alex. Good morning to Brady, Brian, Eric. Gina's in the house. Jay Linder, of course. Good morning, Joe, Lauren, Rajesh. I think it's Rajesh, if I said that correctly. Remco, good morning. We got Sue, we got Win. You guys are piling in. Woo, let's get it. Let's figure out what we got going on in the markets. DJ Danny Dan Jansen. I feel like there's a lot of extra syllables in that, but I kind of like the flow of it. Now I'm thinking about it. Good morning. We got Scott in YouTube land. We got Joe. Baba, yeah, so we can take a look real quick at Baba before we get into the markets. Just came out news on Baba, so we are getting a little pre-market pump. Nothing too crazy, but did shoot up there randomly. We can watch it. Basically, they're extending one of the arms of Alibaba into Hong Kong IPO, into the grocery sector. So did get a little pump. I don't know how sustainable it is, but yeah, if we go to the daily chart, this would be a retest gap. If we are opening here, we do have a level of support. I'd be concerned about some of the resistance on this one. I did pick up Baba for the long term the other day. I've been talking about it for a minute. My better call was when it was like $60, something down here. I was like, I think it might be time to buy some Baba. So it was like 67, missed it, wasn't about to take that. We did get a little bit of a pullback, and I'm like, you know what? Let's get that starter position out there, and then as it comes down, we'll start to add more. So this way I'm in. If it goes higher, great. If it doesn't and go lower, I've got definitely more capital to add existing positions. But I think my price was right around $96, something like that. So we will see. We will see. Let's take a look real quick at SPY. Lauren says, morning, I'm loving the cap on Bud doing something different than the market. We'll take a look at that one. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely been news heavy for sure. Let's see if SPY, a little bit of a gap down, definitely is a retest gap, and it is right now sitting at a decent support. These markets are so wild. So again, there's my longer term. That should be the spot where we get to find a little bit of resistance. I still got that 418 above me. I'm looking at 418 as still targets that we got some kind of close above here. But then we start gapping down right below. Now we got to battle through that 413 again. Could we do it? Yeah, I think it's possible. I don't think 413.56 is going to be the correct price, but I do think we're going to hit a heavier resistance, probably around 414.11. It's earnings season. We'll see which way the market wants to sway, but we are at a good solid support. So if we break, I would say about 411, let's go 411.70, and we can start holding. I think the next target down becomes somewhere around 410.56. That would take us right into one of these moving averages, just kind of rolling in on it. I believe that's a 10. So we are going to have support, and then as we come down, again, it's not going to be the easiest, quickest sell, I don't think, unless some crazy news happens. We do have Tesla earnings tonight as well, so could that affect the market a little bit? I believe so, but we'll see. QQQ. So we have the Qs. Again, a little bit of support, but it's got some good resistance a lot closer. So I like anything in the SPY for potential to run over anything in tech if I'm going to go bullish. And then to the downside, This is going to be, and we're already, this is opening now above that 10 EMA. I mean, below the 10 EMA. It's going to be a little choppy, I think. 315.45 should be some type of support if we start breaking down 316. So depending on which way this probably heavy chop zone breaks, you're going to have resistance not too far away. You're going to have support not too far away. I would probably say at open, you have a better shot going long. So I would play it. This is a retest gap, so let's play that candle from the day before, but we're sitting at the lower range of some of those wicks as well. So we did get bought up there before prior. It seems like a tighter range on the Qs than it does a SPY today. We'll see. Let's take a look real quick at Bud. I have not checked that one out yet. Scott says AMD. We'll take a look at that too. Yeah, Bud definitely looks. Is this news? Correction to the Bud Light boycott article on April 13th. Okay, that's nothing. Ron DeSantis thinks you shouldn't drink Bud Light. So like, if King Dollar is wobbling, the asset is your best investment. When did this come out? April 18th. So this was yesterday. At what time? 9:38. This one doesn't seem to have any real information about Bud. I don't know why this one's really gapping up. Anheuser-Busch, random reads. Yep, I don't know. I don't know what the news is, but yeah, it is a pretty decent gap and go. We definitely have some room on it. We'd like to see a little bit of a pullback, probably looking at 65.28. Obviously, they've been in the news, and I don't think I have to go into details as to why, but they've been pretty heavily involved in social media as of late. And yeah, I think there's a lot of people shorting. A lot of people on the short. This is a little bit of a gap up. If we could get any type of profit taking whatsoever, probably down to like 65.25, that would be my entry to get in. Otherwise, you have targets to about 66.38, nothing really in the way. So that's a decent looking gap. We can look at AMD. So this should be a retest gap. And again, I still like it short. I've not hit my targets yet. The problem with my targets is now we're getting closer and closer to it, and that's going to take some of the risk reward out of it for a short. So first stop for me would be about 87.64. Otherwise, I'm looking for about 86.60. And then could we come all the way back down to eventually test 82.49? Yeah, I think that's doable. I just don't know when. We have earnings coming out soon. I don't think that's today. That's going to be a little bit of a stretch target. So you're gonna start finding good support somewhere around 87.64. So if you're going to short this thing, you have to probably wait for this retest, and then see if you can take it up from there. But yeah, it's a little bit of a tighter range today. Let's get to Netflix, because they did have a wild. I don't know if the word wild is correct. But earnings came out. It was a little bit strange. So we did have, I think they beat on earnings by like a penny. Yep. We missed on revenue by a little bit, the bigger number. And the odd thing is that they stopped subscribers. Like, they're not putting out guidance on that anymore, but analyst estimates were somewhere around like 2.2. So it wasn't Netflix putting out the estimates. It was the analysts themselves. They came in with about 175 million. So they missed on that. Massive dump, rallied higher, did nothing, and looks like we're selling a little bit today. So let's see. We do have the VPOX moving down on us. I'd be curious from this move, which is going to be pretty wild. Let's see if we can get a fib retracement. But the numbers weren't horrible. Like, they were not that bad. Definitely overreaction on this. So that would take me to the 50%. Could we get back down to like 316? I think that's going to be a decent buy spot. They also have, I believe it's Goldman Sachs has a price target on them for 230. UBS came out today and said price target for them is 390. So you have mixed signals in both directions from analysts. It's going to be a very interesting one to watch. I don't know. Right now, it does look a little bit to the weaker side. Is this a 5-wave count down, though? This could be. Let's see where the pen is. This could be the 1, 2. I don't know. Is this all the 3? This only might be the 3. We get a bounce, something like this, and then maybe we can start to recover. We'll have to see. I like that 316 as a buy spot, though. Not for a long term, but for trade. So we'll watch it. I'll play it in either direction, but I'm just trying to think of sentiment. If anybody who purchased calls or puts, I mean, the puts might start to get a little more attractive. I don't even think so. I think we were priced in for about 9-10%. So if we were at 330, 10% down would take you to about $300 on the low side, I think was priced in. And then on the high side, that would take you to about 360. So I think we're going to lose a lot of value in any of those calls or puts that were purchased. They were looking really good here as we got underneath the $300 zone and then the strong bounce back. So the Bears felt great. The Bulls felt terrific, at least enough to hang in there. And then we're just kind of leaking for now. So it's going to be a little bit to the wild side in this one. Definitely should be fun. We might be able to get a trade somewhere in this. I just honestly don't know. The lower it goes, especially if we get closer to 316, I'm going to be looking for trying to get into something in a long direction, I think. Right now, I probably at open, just stay away from it for here. And then we'll kind of figure it out. But let me see if I can. Let me just make sure that fib is, even that fib just seems so stretched. Yeah, no, it was just it was just a dramatic sell-off. So yeah, it's got room to the downside. I'm probably going to be looking for, if at open, probably closer to the short side of things. As we start to approach the 316 zone, I'm going to start to look to maybe start to flip and go long on it. So we might at open, we might be able to look for something short. But it's going to, I'm going to probably need this thing to settle in for a second. Tap looks extended on the Bud News. MS good gap and go. Man, you had to be fairly quick to make anything short up. You couldn't, because options are closed at that point. So anybody with options weren't able to make any moves. Yeah, I don't know. Some of the financials were moving as well. So financials, well, they did look a little bit different than the market. Let's see if that's still the case. But this is a good gap and go. Looks like Morgan Stanley. I don't have the earnings out yet. So is this not today? So maybe Morgan Stanley's after the market. Can you buy the shares if you had a long put? Yes. Yes, you could. Which is probably how a lot of people were playing it. Yep. So after hours, you could buy the shares, but obviously the option market's closed. So once you're in, and then you get that kind of move, yeah, you could definitely buy shares and kind of average it down a little bit. And that's why it's going to be weird on Netflix. There's so many people just absolutely hosed in every direction. But you got Morgan Stanley. Yeah, that's a pretty decent gap and go. We are getting into a pretty heavy support area. Watch that hammer right there too. I don't know if we make it down there, but we already did retest that once. So that hammer's been retested. Probably be looking for, seems like we have a heavy volume area somewhere around 86.16. And then you got a little bit of support probably around 85.56. So Question is how much lower is this going to go? Wall, which is Western Alliance, did report yesterday. They were one of the, I would give them credit for being one of the, honestly, the most regional bank that's reported so far. They also did not get a cash infusion of about $30 billion like FRC did. And their numbers look decent. Their numbers were not bad, all things considering. So pretty decent gap up on Wall. Might be one to watch as well today. Western Alliance Bancorp. Let's go back to that daily. We seem to be gapping above just everything. See if this one could pull back slightly. Maybe we could start looking around 38.20, but I like this location, and I like the fact there's really not a whole lot in the way. Maybe moving average. That's about it. So maybe somewhere around 45.84. But I'm going to be adding Wall to pretty high on the list. It is up a lot. That's the only concern that I would have. I mean, I have a lot of other concerns too, but I guess that's my main one. This is search for a tool. Oh, there we go. Let's add this to the list. And then we can look for sympathy plays too. So FRC would be another one potentially to consider because they don't have the earnings yet, but they do have, I think earnings are on Monday. They do have $30 billion injection into it as well. So it might be a little different looking, but we were in a TTM squeeze. So that looks good. There's a lot of shorts probably getting trapped on this one. So I do like Wall, and we might be able to set something up on these guys as well. We shall see. Let's take a look for maybe a sympathy play of FRC. Just kind of hanging out. So until the earnings come out on these guys, I don't see a big major breakout, but we could probably make it back. I know like $12.40 to $14, maybe 14 and change has been kind of the range of these guys. I can't see them going down today, honestly, because you don't really have the news. It's just all speculation. But you do have the news of at least some of the regional banks still surviving. So that could give a little bit of like, all right, well, if Wall could beat maybe some of these other guys. And I don't know if they go up a tremendous a lot, but maybe back to the $14 range today. So we'll see. I'll be watching FRC pretty closely. All right, let me get to some of these other ones. PNC. PNC is regional, but the size of them is different. They have like $5 billion, or what is it, 5 billion under management, something like that. The amount of money under management under PNC is a lot different than FRC. So it's kind of like, yes, PNC would be a regional, and they came out on Friday, but they are still a little bit of a different category than FRC and Wall as well. So yes and no. I mean, they're classified as a regional, so I guess I have to put them there, but not quite the same. But they're a little bit flat for right now. Then we looked at MS. All right. Let me see. Bob is pumping. AMD. We covered. Wall. Real Virtual Demand says, always good to be here. Love having you here as well. We got Shop in YouTube lands. Bob is pumping. AMD. We covered. Wall. All right, where's Shop? All right, Shopify. So Shop has a little bit of a gap and go. If we open where we're at, it's not bad. We'd probably be looking for about 47.81 would be targets. That would be my initial target. I'd be looking to take maybe 10% off there, and then see if we get a little bit lower. We had some volume on this candle, not an incredible amount, but I think we still have more bears trapped than not. I think final target on this one, if you do want to play this short, would be about 46.50. Might be tough to get to, but just because we do have a couple of levels in between. But yeah, somewhere around there would be a decent location, I think, at least for potentially even setting some kind of swing or something like that on this. But yeah, just kind of hanging out. It's also did hit a good like where we got the highs coming in. We started to get into a double top, a higher resistance from this area over here, right here, and then this could be some kind of a pullback still. So could go either way on that. We got Oxy. That looks interesting. Yeah, Oxy I kind of like. I'd have to do a fib on this. I'd be concerned about some of those moving averages coming in. Otherwise, to me, this looks like, all right, we ran too far. We got taken down. This probably looks like we're in some kind of wave 3. We've got that 50% retracement, somewhere around 61.82 roughly. We also have a moving average there, so that's going to be probably held up slightly. That's also coming into this pivot. So we're going to have a little bit of support this one's coming into. We also got the Warren Buffett factor where we start to get low. He buys the in until probably he owns the entire company, but $60.72 would be, so around $60.72 would be the 618. So that would have to be my stretch goal today. Otherwise, the real goal 61.82 wouldn't get me too far. It was 4.999999 billion. Then they got money. They have 5 billion. Yep. Yeah, they just they held on to their, I don't even know. They might still have the 4.999999 billion. Yeah. I don't even know if they had that extra penny on that one. TRV, low volume this morning, but nice gap. TRV. The Travelers Company. What is this? This is multi-line insurance. Okay. Is this Travelers Insurance? Yeah, decent gap. Again, we're gonna start to approach this major upper level. This is probably gonna be a fade, if anything, but I would fade it higher. So see if this thing comes up to like 180, and then I'd be looking for some kind of short. That would give me a good risk reward. Probably stop would have to be like 183-ish, 183.50. So the higher you could get on this one, the better for a short, but it is a good gap and go. I think shorting would be a little scary at this zone. Could maybe be trapping some of these bears a little further, but you might also have, I mean, we have signs of double bottom, people trying to get in. So that's going to give me a little pause on just out of the gate, trying to do something. Let's take a look real quick at some of the airlines. AAL, I'm considering buying today. Probably for position for a long term, which is annoying because I hate airlines. Actually, I might not even throw it into the long term. It might be like the intermediate account. So obviously we have all that volume to climb through. We're back at 2020 levels when planes were grounded, and we are just hanging into this upper trend line. So if you're going to try it, and again, there's really two outcomes here. One is death to airlines altogether, where we chop around, we look good, and then we break, and then we go this way, or we're going to break out of the channel this way. One of those two options. We are by 2020 levels. We're also holding kind of these, we are making higher lows. We've been making higher highs. So I'm thinking this could be the eventual direction of it. And if you're going to do it, you're probably getting better risk reward down here. So something I'm just kind of considering today as well. If this was anything else, I mean, I even kind of want to put it into a long-term account, but I also hate airlines completely. So did I look at Tesla? I mean, I did. I didn't go over it. Let's see. Tesla. Yeah, so Tesla's going to be probably annoying today because it does have earnings. And we'll have to see how this one kind of plays out. But here's that channel I'm watching fairly closely. This one, maybe we could change this one a little bit. I'll probably get us to here. So decent break. I would be looking short on Tesla out of the gate. Question is, does everybody else feel the same way? We have this little bit of a retest gap. So the better play for me, instead of just shorting this thing kind of low into this little bit of a pennant pattern, would be see if we get bought up a little bit. And then if we could get to, I'd start looking around 182.93 would be a better opportunity for a short. But if we could get back into like 183.91, that would be, I think, a really nice spot. So those two areas is where I'm looking to short this thing. Otherwise, yeah, we're depending on where we open. I mean, if we're below this one little VPOC, which we are now, there's not really much holding us. Probably the next spot, 177.89. And if that breaks, we probably could have a good path down to 174.40. Keep in mind earnings tonight. So any of this analysis, if you guys are swing trading or doing anything, could be completely thrown out the window by tomorrow. But for day trade basis, I do like it to the short side. But I think I have to short this thing as high as we possibly can. Yep, Stephen King says, be aware Tesla weekly 200. He has 177.80, and Maloney has 177.74. Yeah, makes a ton of sense. Yep, so we're going to start to approach this, and again, it's going to be a little bit. If this thing sells off a lot, I'll probably pick up some shares for the earnings run up, not holding it through earnings. So just be careful. If this thing comes down and I could get into Tesla around 174.38, I'll probably look to play this thing long somewhere around that point and then just sell out pre-earnings. Maybe I might also buy a call. I'll still also sell that before earnings as well. But usually the closer you get to that bell, the more volatility, the more IV goes up in Tesla calls and puts, and you might be able to make some kind of play. But I want to do that as low as possible if we could. So if I'm still on the mic as I do it, I'll let you guys know. Win says 177. It's kind of like FRC's earnings. And we got one more. We got Uber. Uber had a good run up in the morning yesterday and gave it all back. So typical Uber. Being such an Uber. Yeah, good retest gap at a good location. Again, I'm not really quite positive as to why. Oh, there we go. Indian taxi startup. Blue Smart picks EV fight with Uber. Dang it, Blue Smart. Read the room, Blue Smart. Read the room. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can imagine it goes up on that, but how many EV chargers will be enough? Yada, yada. Uber Eats and Leafly partner. So there we go. That was the news. Uber Eats and Leafly partner to bring cannabis delivery to Britain. So trade it like a weed stock. Just apparently short it. I guess has been the trend. Anytime anybody enters the cannabis arena. But all right, we got like 30 seconds left. You guys are absolutely incredible. In YouTube land, I got to switch this over to TOS just so I can watch a couple screens at once. If you guys have not already, make sure you guys check out Real Life Trading. I believe we have, I don't know if the email got sent out, but I do see the website updated as well. So we do have a ton of mentorship groups that are starting to go live. So if you guys want to check that out, just go to the mentoring section of the website. I do have one coming out Tuesday mornings where we will be live trading the first 2 hours together. So if you guys are interested in that, by all means. Otherwise, you guys are incredible, and I'll catch you guys all later. Take it easy.